Okay, this video is called the Dr. Sebi story. You might have seen Dr. Sebi's books if you go to Amazon.com. You might have heard about him. His real name is Alfredo Bowman, like he was a Hispanic black man from Honduras. And, you know, I heard Dr. Sebi. Dr. Sebi was more like a nickname. His wife called him Sebi, and then the patients who he cured started calling him Dr. Sebi, and it kind of sounds like Save Me. He ends up being a little bit interesting. I went to Wikipedia to read about him, and Wikipedia writes terrible things about him. They say he's a fraud, he, practiced medicine without a license, one bad thing after another about him, which made me like him. Wikipedia is very bogus. Wikipedia, you can think of it as being like a corporate slander service that prevents innovation. Whenever somebody produces something that's competition for big name commercial products, Wikipedia will slander them. You can look at what Wikipedia did to Dr. McDougall. They called him vegan extremist and all this stuff. Okay, so anyways, this guy, Dr. Sebi, he had about 4 wives, a bunch of mistresses, and he had 22 children. Okay, maybe more, 22 known children. He died in 2016 under mysterious circumstances, which some people attribute to corporate not being happy with him. He was quite sick as a young adult, and he figured out how to cure himself. He never had any formal schooling. Apparently, he didn't even, have high school, maybe not even grade school. He died, like I said, in 2016. He was 82 years of age. Okay, then there was a rapper, I think Nipsey something, who wanted to make a documentary about him, and then he died under mysterious circumstances too. There was a lady who was promoting him, a lady actress, something like Lisa Lopes, and she was going around promoting him, and then she died under mysterious circumstances. So there's some rumor about that being related to corporate not liking the competition from him. Okay, when he was a young man, he had asthma and some other medical problems, and then apparently he healed himself by eating plant foods. He taught other people to eat plant foods, and he mentions, the idea of less mucus. I know if your dairy thickens your mucus, for example, processed foods will thicken your mucus, and so avoiding those two things will thin your mucus. There was that guy named Eric who wrote a book about the mucusless diet. I read it, though. I thought it was quite overrated. So Dr. Sebi became very rich and famous. He became the nutrition advisor to the stars. He was nutrition advisor for Steven Seagal, the martial arts guy, Eddie Murphy, Michael Jackson, and for other famous movie stars, John Travolta, and then that lady, Lisa Lopes. Okay, he did make some outrageous claims. He claimed that he had cured HIV, that he had even, with cancer and some other diseases in some circumstances. So, there's a good documentary about him at a YouTube channel called Chimes. I'll put the link in the description below. What do I think of him? I really think he doesn't know too much, because whenever I heard him speak, I never heard him put together a coherent explanation of things. But he did seem to do some good things. Now here's a book. It's not written by him, but it's written by somebody and claimed to be his diet. And I do know he emphasized this idea of food being alkaline. Well, what's alkaline? Fruits and vegetables. Those are the two major alkaline foods, fruits and vegetables. Grains can be about neutral or even a little acidic. Animal foods tend to all be very acidic, especially like the worst is fish and cheese, okay? So what I think maybe happened, I don't know for certain, I haven't studied him in that much detail, but I think he might have, healed himself by becoming a vegan or close to it, and he was so happy with the results, he basically told other people to eat what he's eating. He used to sell some herbal supplements, and then towards the end of the documentary about him, you see the different relatives and family and wives are all squabbling about over who's his true follower and the true ones to carry out selling his herbals. So I think they're making money selling his herbals. I don't recommend any of his herbals. None. I'm not recommending any of them. I'm just saying he's kind of interesting. He had offices in New York, offices in Los Angeles. Then he went back to Honduras. He was interesting. Okay, he had to be a pretty smart guy to run all these businesses and attract all these followers. And you attract all these movie stars, so he had to be doing something right. I can tell you, though, when I watched him speak, I did not hear any type of lucid, coherent plan. He had a couple good sayings, a couple good quotes. I think he knew that there was just something good about this plant diet. Now let me show you a couple more slides from his quotes here. So here's one where he says, "A society that keeps cures a secret so they can continue to sell medications for huge profits, it's not a real society. It's a mental asylum." Oh, that sounds familiar. Okay, here's another quote by Dr. Sebi. "At a young age, we are taught that soul food, the unhealthy death food that many of us put into our temples. But what is real soul food? What is it? Real soul food is the food that enhances the soul." S-O-L is sun in Spanish. "Our central sun, our melanin, our carbon, fruits, vegetables, and grains. This is the real soul food." So he's recommending fruits, vegetables, and grains. However, he does say some strange things. He doesn't like beans. He doesn't like potatoes. He doesn't like rice. Well, there's a lot of healthy people all over the world that eat those foods all the time. I don't think he really had a coherent system, but he certainly was a charismatic speaker, and like I said, he was bright enough and good enough social skills to make himself a pretty wealthy guy with his business. Okay, here's another good quote by Dr. Sebi. "If nature didn't make it, then don't take it." Okay, so that's good advice. So anyways, I'll have the link in the description below. If you're curious, he's a little bit entertaining, but again, I don't think he really had a coherent system. I don't think he really understood much about nutrition. I think the impression I got was he kind of lucked out, cured himself with the vegan diet, then knew that that was a good thing to help people, and he was right. And there's lots and lots of patients that give testimonials to him. When establishment healthcare came after him, he had 70 written healed patients giving testimonials for cures from pretty serious diseases. So that was rather impressive. So anyways, I'll link to the description if you want, to the documentary about him. If you like it, you can check that out.